Hi guys. Me and my husband Terry just celebrated our 8th wedding anniversary, and so for that I thought I'd make a quick little video about how our wedding story and how it turned out the way it did, and then share a little bit about the benefits of a smaller wedding because with the way the world is looking right now, I know a lot of people are changing their wedding plans. And I know some people are thinking about eloping or a really small wedding, but they're like afraid that they're going to regret it or, just worried that it's not going to be everything they dreamed about. So I thought I would share my perspective from what we did for our wedding and some of the benefits of that. And I want to say up front that I have genuinely nothing against big weddings. If that's your dream and you have the resources, like go for it. Like congratulations. Have fun. But from my perspective of having a very small wedding, you could call it an elopement, except like we had full permission from our parents, and I think the definition of eloping is like running away. But I mean, it was very, very small. So me and Terry met when we were 18, and then we were friends for a year, and then we started dating, and then we were dating for a year, and then a month after we were dating for a year, we got married. And so when we had been dating about a year, we had just kind of had a discussion, and Terry had just gotten a new full-time job, and I was working, and it was going well, and we were like, you know what? Like, we could afford a little apartment, and like we had talked here and there about getting married, and we were like, you know what? What I said, I had VIP concert tickets to see my favorite band the next month, and I was like, you know what? We can make that our honeymoon. Like, just plan a quick wedding, get married, and that could be our honeymoon. And he was like, yeah, sure. So there was no like big surprise engagement. It was just kind of a mutual like, yeah, let's do it. Um, and we talked to our parents, and they were on board and supportive. My mom was fine with it being small and her not being there as long as we had pictures. And then we were planning to have like a reception party thing where people could bring gifts and we could celebrate with people later. So me and my mom went and picked out a dress, and just I think we bought it at Ross, like just a cheap white dress. We asked our music pastor at the church we met at to officiate the wedding for us. We both really love him, and he was a great fit for what we did. We asked my brother and his then girlfriend. They're married now, but it was his girlfriend at the time to be our like two witnesses, and um, she's a really good photographer, so she brought her nice camera and took pictures for us. And so we had our wedding party. It was just me, Terry, my brother, his girlfriend, and our pastor officiating, and that was the only people there. Terry went for a short time to UCO, and there was a little chapel. I think it's called the Y Chapel. It's like this little bitty church chapel thing, and we used that for our wedding, and it was great. It was beautiful. I have no regrets. There, I loved everything the our pastor said. At the end, everybody like put hands on us and prayed, and it was just a beautiful small ceremony, like committing our lives to each other before God, and that's exactly what I wanted because I knew myself, and like having a big wedding would just have me really stressed out, and I would be thinking about anything but like what I was there for, which I mean, I consider marriage a really big deal, committing yourself to somebody for the rest of your life, and I like that's what you should be focused on above anything else. And I knew if I had a big wedding, I would be like super stressed about who was there and how I looked and if everything was perfect, and like comparing it to other weddings, and like I did not want that. So it was beautiful. I was able to focus on what mattered, and we had our wedding. We stopped at a sushi place in Edmond and had sushi afterwards, and then we drove to Lawrence, Kansas to see the band called, it's a band called Camelot. They're one of my very favorites. You should look them up. Symphonic metal band, and we wore these just married t-shirts, and so we got lots of congratulations from the band. We had front row. Well, there was no seats, we were just standing, but anyway, we were right up front. It was so much fun, so much fun. I also have this picture of, that was the morning we got married. My little cheap dress. Terry just wore a black button-up shirt and jeans, very casual. Lots of fun. It was a big adventure. We also got in a car accident while we were down there. Everybody was fine, but anyway, very memorable. I have no regrets. It was a blast. So what I consider, I already kind of touched on, like, the biggest advantage I see to a small wedding or an elopement is being able to focus on what you're doing, which is getting married, which is a very big deal. And you should be able to focus on that, and smaller makes it easier, in my opinion. So that was the biggest perk of that. Like, it was a beautiful experience. Just, there was nothing distracting us from why we were there. It's also, okay, I will say, you can be way cheaper. I mean, if you do like running away on a exotic vacation elopement, is probably comparable in price, but for like what we did, way cheaper. You don't have to worry about like feeding everybody and like super fancy dress, like decorations. Like, it was just, well, I mean, you can make it as expensive or cheap as you want it to. And then we weren't rich. We were 20 years old, just starting out. And so we didn't have money for a lot, and we needed that money for rent and food and stuff like that. So yeah, it was saving your money for building a life and a marriage instead of just one day, which that would have killed me too, spending like thousands of dollars on something that's just over in one day. So that's a perk. Another thing that not everybody has to worry about, but you can avoid any possible family drama. Like, maybe there's family members that don't get along very well, or shouldn't be in the same room together, or just, I don't know, people you know you need to invite but don't really want to be there, and that can be distracting from getting married too. So with a smaller wedding or an elopement, there shouldn't be any hard feelings if you're like, look, we're just having a tiny ceremony, and we're only inviting very few people, so like they don't have to be offended, and they can celebrate with you later. They're also, like, a small wedding is quick to plan. Like, I'm working on this, but I'm the type that always like wants to do what's the next step. Like, what, like, our next step was to get married, so I don't want to wait a year to plan it. Like, let's just go. And so a small wedding is very quick to plan. When you're ready, you're ready, and then you just go do it. You get married. And so that was a big deal, something I considered a good thing for that. So those are the things that I consider to be benefits of a smaller wedding or an elopement. And in the meantime, happy wedding planning. And I'll talk to you guys later.